What is good, my family? Your boy Demetrius is back with another Street Fighter 6 video. And here in this video here, while we are all still waiting on more information when it comes to Street Fighter 6, we are all still excited on what type of characters that we could see in Street Fighter 6, whether it be classic characters, new characters, or what have you. Now, one of the things about Street Fighter 6 that I'm excited about is the new possible story rivalries that the game could possibly have, whether it be cinematic wise or in-game cutscenes in real time, however they manage to do it. One of the things that Street Fighter has always been known for is rivalry matches between two certain characters. So while we're still waiting on character information when it comes to Street Fighter 6, all we can do is basically just predict what can go on in the game and predict what characters can come. And here in this video here, I'm going to be making a list of possibilities. I said possibilities, depending on which characters do enter Street Fighter 6, that possible rivalries could spawn from some of these characters. Now, like I said, we may not see these characters in Street Fighter 6, but we may see them in Street Fighter 6. Or I still kind of think Street Fighter 6 may go the whole new generation route, just like they did with Street Fighter 3. So everything is still up in the air right now, but as of right now, all we can do is predict. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna give y'all a list of possible rivalries that we could possibly see if these characters do show up in Street Fighter 6, and also create new legacies for the character and for the story. But before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to your boy for more Street Fighter 6 videos just as you're about to witness. Also, make sure you subscribe for more classic videos just like this one containing other titles. Alright, my family, let's get into this shit. The first potential rivalry that we could have in Street Fighter 6 if these two characters are put in Street Fighter 6 is Mike Haggar versus Zangief. Now, I know these two characters are kind of similar in a way. They're both wrestlers, but shit, this would be a good ass fucking rivalry. Zangief with his muscular frame and then Mike Haggar with his muscular frame, you know, they can make some type of story out of it. I don't know what they can do as far as story wise, but it'll be a nice fighting rivalry, you know, when it comes to the world of Street Fighter, because I know they got some similar moves. I know they both got the clothesline and shit like that, pile driver, but they can still make some shit work out between these two characters, and it'll just be some fun and exciting shit to see. Two big wrestling characters getting in the ring together should be some funny stuff if that shit were to ever happen. Mike Haggar versus Zangief would definitely be a pretty good rivalry if it happens, if these characters are put in Street Fighter 6. We pretty much know Zangief will, but if Haggar is in it, it'll be a good rivalry. Haggar is one of those characters that I really do want to see in Street Fighter 6, so this would be a pretty good rivalry if it comes down to it. The next good possible rivalry that we could have in Street Fighter 6 is Feilong versus Yin and Yang. Now, if y'all go back to Street Fighter Alpha 3, they had it to where certain characters would have to go up against Julie and Junie at the same time. I know Dawson was one of those characters that had to do it. I think Chun Li and Rose, those characters would have to fight them at the same time. So I figure that what they could do with Street Fighter 6 and the rivalry, kind of like with Feilong and Yin and Yang, they could have Feilong fight Yin and Yang at the same time in a kind of rivalry battle and bring back that Street Fighter Alpha feel that they once did back then. I feel like it'd be kind of cool. And then this is a matchup that I've always wanted to see Feilong go up against these two, kind of like Bruce Lee going up against a couple of henchmen, you know what I'm saying? I ain't calling Yin and Yang henchmen, but y'all understand what I'm saying. It's just one of those things I would always like to see Feilong go up against these two. And it's kind of like Jeet Kune Do against Kung Fu, man. And of course, they can make a potential story out of it. You know, Yin and Yang can track down Feilong, learn something from Feilong, and they can do some stuff like that. So that's pretty of a cool idea if they would do that in Street Fighter 6. Still holding on hope for these characters to return for it to happen. If these characters come into the Street Fighter 6 game and have a story with that on top of that, this idea right here of Feilong versus Yin and Yang could be very epic. Now, this next potential rivalry between these two characters, if they are in Street Fighter 6, is Laura and Elena. And this is a very interesting rivalry and a matchup. And the reason why I feel like I want this kind of rivalry to happen is because these two characters are really similar in a way. They both got agility, they both got range, and their personalities are kind of the same, even though Laura is a little bit more bossy than Elena is, and Elena is a little bit more spiritual. But these two characters, like I said, there's a lot of similarities between these two characters, and actually a battle between these two characters, that'll be a fun ass battle if we ever see this in Street Fighter 6 if these two characters return. I'm betting on Laura is going to come back. She was a real popular character and everybody likes Laura. She had a good gameplay. And, you know, her tier was pretty high too, so I'm thinking Laura is going to come back. Now, Elena, I'm hoping Elena comes back. This matchup is a pretty cool matchup. I think a lot of people would like to see this matchup and a story rivalry to come out of it, because these two characters, like I said, very similar, personalities mesh very well, and it'll be a downright fun matchup to watch. Now the next rivalry that I want to see is Ryu versus Chun Li. Now we have seen Ryu versus Chun Li countless times. We've seen these two battle, you know, over the years and shit like that. And then sometimes, you know, the media kind of draws up these two as being love interests or some shit like that. But you know what? One of the things that I really haven't seen happen with Ryu and Chun Li is that they really haven't had that story rivalry together. I mean, every now and then, if you watch an anime or some shit like that, you know, they'll have an encounter, like a battle, a rivalry encounter. But I want a story rivalry between these two because, you know, Chun Li has one of the most you know, popular phrases ever, that she's the strongest woman in the world. So, you know, I always wanted to see her test that theory out against a character like Ryu, but I just want story dialect, you know, to be a part of it. I really want Chun Li to actually pursue him and to see where her might really stands when it comes to shit like that. You know, that's just me. And then on top of that too, these two characters, when they do interact with each other somehow, some way, there is some chemistry there. There's some good chemistry there. They are good to watch together. They are fun to watch as far as fighting and shit like that, whichever Street Fighter game that they own. And like I said before, these two characters were pretty much there from the start. You know, Chun Li came at Street Fighter 2 and shit like that. But I've always wanted a storied rivalry between these two characters because a lot of people make so many theories about these two characters. Capcom might as well create a story rivalry between the two. And Ryu is a character that a lot of characters are probably going to have a story rivalry against anyway. We've seen it with the Street Fighter 6 trailer with Luke, so Luke clearly is going to have a story rivalry with him. A handful of other characters are probably going to as well, so Chun Li should definitely have that story rivalry with Ryu because, you know, just from a historic standpoint, it'll just be fun to watch. Now this next story rivalry here that I want to see, depending on if these two characters are going to be in Street Fighter 6, I'm pretty much sure that G probably is going to be in Street Fighter 6 because he is one of the most popular characters, probably top 5 in Street Fighter 5. Everybody loves G, so he probably is going to be in Street Fighter 6. And Q was one of the characters that I mentioned in the last video that I wanted to see in Street Fighter 6. And the reason why I want to see a storied rivalry between these two characters is because the media world seem to think that there is a connection between these two characters. Now, me personally, I don't think there is, but still, these two characters are very mysterious. They can make a story rivalry out of these two characters and then just go off of that mystery. Me personally, like I keep saying, I don't think there is no connection between these two characters whatsoever. G just has fucking customization look-alike that looks like Q and shit like that, and people are just running with it. Like, people think that G and Q are either the same or something going on in their history or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of confusing, but I don't think these two characters have any kind of connection or history together. But what Capcom can do, they can make a story rivalry out of it and then continue the mystery with these two characters, or they can make it to where these two characters come from a similar background and this is the reason why they are the way they are, and so they can do it like that. But G versus Q would definitely be a good matchup, exciting matchup, because, you know, G is a character. The only thing with G and Q that they do have the same is that they are both chess match type characters. You can't just mash out, go out there and whatever. These are two characters you really have to be
really have to be precise and cohesive with. So that's where I would like the story rivalry, and also it'll be a good matchup to see because it wouldn't be no mash fest. It'll be a nice chess match, and it'll be kind of like a matchup to where whoever gets the big counter hit may take control of the match. You feel what I'm saying? So that is what these two characters do have in common. But like I said, a story rivalry between these two characters, G and Q, if they were in Street Fighter 6, would be one of the best. Now this next story rivalry is the rivalry that I've been wanting to happen for a long time, and that is my main character Ken versus Akuma. Now for some strange reason, you know, Capcom has already, you know, documented the Ryu and Akuma rivalry. You know, they do it every now and then. Every Street Fighter, Ryu and Akuma, they'll get together and they'll have a story rivalry. For some strange reason, that has yet to happen with Ken and Akuma. I kind of feel like, you know, Ken is of course strong enough to go after Akuma. They should make something happen there. Then on top of that as well, I kind of felt where in Street Fighter 5, Ken should have definitely, you know, tried to go after Akuma, but you know, Street Fighter 5 didn't really have too much of a story. Story kind of sucked, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, this right here between Ken and Akuma, this needs to happen because, you know, if you go all the way back to Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, you know, you would have thought something should have happened between Ken and Akuma then, but nothing really never did. I just kind of feel like, you know, I just don't understand why Capcom is ignoring the fact that there is a lot of potential that can come out of a Ken versus Akuma rivalry. And I just kind of feel like in Street Fighter 6, that could be Ken's new enthusiasm. You know what? Go after Akuma, test his might against Akuma. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be Ken versus Ryu all the time. Ken could really start a little back and forth battle with Akuma. Now that'd be something fresh right there because, like I said before, I kind of feel like Ken versus Akuma, the potential is definitely there. I think there would be more story potential than that with Ken versus Akuma than Ryu versus Akuma, because sometimes when Ryu goes up against Akuma, it's kind of obvious that it's gonna happen. I know there may have been a couple of times where they have encountered each other in a battle and it's been documented, but I want a full story rivalry, like with dialect, everything, you know, Akuma telling Ken what he has to do to achieve this and all of that stuff. You feel what I'm saying? They should do that in Street Fighter 6. And like I said before, Ken is my main character, and you know, it is time for Ken to have a different direction, kind of branch off of Ryu a little bit, you know, do his thing with another character. Akuma would be that perfect character. It'd be a couple of other characters Ken could have a story rivalry with. You know, he could have a story rivalry with Dan also, because if y'all go back to Street Fighter Alpha 2, Dan actually came after Ken because, you know, they both have the same master, and Dan kind of insulted Ken. So you know what I'm saying? So but as far as Ken versus Akuma, I feel like in Street Fighter 6, if this were to happen, this would be probably the best story rivalry in Street Fighter 6, because I personally want this to happen, and I think a lot of other people want this to happen too. So Ken versus Akuma, I'm definitely going to be looking for this or something like this in a Street Fighter 6 story rivalry. So my family, those are the story rivalries that I wanted to highlight for a possibility if those characters are put into Street Fighter 6. Like I said before, if these story rivalries actually happen, that'd be just exciting to watch. And you know, the thing about it is Street Fighter, that has been their history with a lot of characters, with the storied rivalries. And with Street Fighter 6 using the new Resident Evil engine, there's a lot of cinematic possibilities, you know, that goes into play when it comes to these story rivalries, and it'll just be some nice shit to see. So let me know in the comment section on what y'all think on what story rivalries that y'all like to see if y'all favorite characters return in Street Fighter 6. Put that in the comment section below and we can get a conversation started. Until then, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe for more classic ass videos like the ones that y'all just witnessed. My name is Demetrius. God bless. Stay safe. I will see y'all next time. I am out. Peace.